when it comes to why do we learn a language for so long but never dare to speak it freely? Have you ever been in a situation where it comes to doing something you know very well how to, but you are just not able to? Like when you try diligently to open a door, but you can't open it. So, have you ever noticed that when learning a foreign language, one of the biggest problems, not only for beginners, but even for those who have a good grasp of future perfect continuous, is that they can experience problems and discomfort when it comes to even just speaking. Let's imagine this situation. You went on a beach vacation in Egypt at an all-inclusive hotel with Russian-speaking staff, and you have no opportunity to get out of the comfort zone. Although you have gone an extra mile to not have to speak English, unexpected situations arise and you are forced to think outside the box. I found myself in a situation where we were assigned a sub-bar room and a staff member unfamiliar with Russian came to check what was wrong. My parents, who didn't speak English, looked at me with hope because at the time I had been learning this language for a couple of years. I was their beacon of hope that had to shed the light upon that situation. I don't want to admit that I was terrified of speaking English right that moment, and although I managed to communicate very well, I kept overthinking that I would make the mistake. This incident highlights one of the reasons for the language barrier we're discussing today. The language barrier is primarily a set of psychological attitudes that hinder effective communication in the target language. According to statistics, 63% of Russians studied English at school or university, but only about 5% can claim they're fluent. In practice, the fear of communicating in English is often linked to psychological factors such as low self-esteem, emotional instability, poor organization of the learning process, lack of motivation, and insufficient imagination. Other obstacles include imperfect thinking, weak speech perception, and unfamiliarity with the culture and traditions of the country. All these factors slows down the learning process, resulting in difficulties and making English challenging to learn with ineffective classes. The language barrier isn't the end. And the language barrier can manifest itself in various ways. I have faced this in my own experience. When I speak fluent Romanian with my friends from Moldova, it feels like my comfort zone. However, last summer, when I went to visit my grandmother, it was challenging being a native speaker because I was hesitant to enter into conversations, express my opinion, or discuss various topics. How did I overcome it? I accepted my speech as it was. I realized that for a person who had lived all her life in Russia, it is normal to have a Russian accent. Thanks to that, I got rid of my shyness and became more confident in myself in speaking with Romanian people. Looking back, overcoming these issues was a piece of cake, now that I have sorted things out. Yet, in that moment, anxiety led to new complexes. If I hadn't found the strength to stop being shy of my pronunciation, I might have been stuck in a tunnel of complexes. Still, the language barrier isn't the end. To ease the fear of speaking English, the key is gaining confidence in your abilities. And to achieve that, try this. Learn English in a relaxed setting. Focus on interesting conversation rather than sentence construction. Discover a new language by cooking English recipes. It's like learn a new language with tasty tweets. Watch movies or listen to songs in English to develop an ear for the language and immerse yourself in it. Create an imaginary situation in your mind. Speak to an imagined tourist or receptionist. Imagine a trip to England, a foreign job interview, or shopping abroad to practice real communication. To overcome the barrier from psychological point of view, adopt the following approaches. Be patient. Results take time. Don't expect everything at once, as exaggerated expectations can undermine motivation. Let your hair down during conversation. It's a friendly situation for development, so make the most of it. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Even native speakers make them. There is nothing to fear for someone who learning the language. After all, don't be afraid to think about yourself and your knowledge. Develop your ability and don't let yourself drown in uncertainty. The person who makes no mistakes is the one who decides to never speak English. So, when it comes to speaking English, just do it.